Welcome in to another edition of Section 65, the official SEC podcast of Garage Guys Fantasy Sports. I am your host, Clay Keaton, alongside my partner, Tanner Colson. Tanner, good evening.
Yes, sir. My life. How are you doing, Clay?
Doing pretty well. It's the biggest weekend of my season, so a lot of things to talk
weekend.
About. Yeah. Anyway, let's we're gonna recap last week. We're gonna look at some basketball teams. Give a 2-team preview. I bet you can guess which 2 teams we're going to preview tonight. And then we'll pick some games for this week. Talk about this week, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah, we'll give it to you short and sweet. We like it that way.
Short and sweet, just like my. Never mind. Tanner, let's get ready to go. We're gonna start out with the news, Tanner. Sorry, I thought you were gonna take it right away there.
Oh no, dude, you're the host, man. I'm just the news guy.
Sorry, I'm a little lost. We do have some news. The battle for the Heisman in Atlanta this weekend. Tanner, let's get to the news.
All right. So in some conference news, we got University of South Carolina, the very distinguished Gamecocks, have hired Shane Beamer, son of Virginia Tech legend Frank Beamer, as their new head coach. Was the assistant head coach of the offense over at University of Oklahoma. Fun. LSU has self-imposed a bowl ban on themselves. I think they're 3-6 this year. I mean, they're bad. They're really bad. And they decided that for all their violations they had earlier this year, that they would self-impose a bowl ban in a season where literally anybody can go to a bowl.
He's trying to be slick with that, and it's not slick at all. Yeah,
it's not slick. I don't know who makes the decisions at LSU, but that's
Coach O and Mike Krzyzewski need to get dinner.
Maybe it's to make room for some elite recruits. You know, maybe they lost some. Maybe they told them they didn't have a spot anymore. Maybe.
If it were anybody but Vanderbilt, I would totally be calling for Tennessee to tank this game this weekend. But it can't happen. It won't happen. It's not going to happen. I'm not even
entertaining the thought
that it's going to be close to. I mean, Vanderbilt literally doesn't have any players.
No, they got that kicker, SEC Specialist of the Week, Sarah Fuller.
I'm at the Hilton on Vandy's campus near West End Ave. Hilton Garden Inn. If you want to come over after the game
to settle that beef,
we'll be over there. We'll be over there, and
yeah, probably. Either way, Sarah Fuller is a unit. Good for her.
She's a big old girl.
Anyways, Jarrett Garantano, by the way, your boy, he's out at Tennessee. He's out. They're running with Harrison Bailey the rest of the season, and I think JT Shrout is his name.
Look for Shrout to play a lot the next couple games. That's my prediction. He did pretty well in the Florida game. Kind of an overlooked guy. He doesn't get much attention. Not a great quarterback by any means, but Tennessee doesn't have a great quarterback. So, we're kind of just going with what we have. But it is interesting to see Harrison and JT in there. I really want to see more of JT. I am more confident in what he knows about the offense and what the defense will throw at him. But Bailey did okay. Yeah, but he's all we had.
Some other news: Kentucky basketball. They're off to a 1-3 start. Who could have seen this coming? It's almost like every season now where they start off like dog shit. I'm sure they'll probably round into form at some point. I don't know if it's a COVID thing. I don't know what it is, but
I have some information on the Kentucky basketball team from one of my buddies that is a big Kentucky basketball fan. Take this with a grain of salt.
Yeah, you want to drop it on the show?
I was informed by this blue neck Kentucky fan. Actually, it was passed along to me as a comedic conversation because of how ridiculous this is. This particular Kentucky fan, I won't mention any names, told me or told some of my buddies that Kentucky doesn't practice defense for the first 3 months of the college basketball season. So for November, December, and January, Kentucky does no defensive drills in practice. They do no defense until January or until almost February. So
That seems to kind of match their timeline as far as when they get
well,
good.
yeah, and it does. It does kind of match their timeline, but they've got freshmen in there every year. I mean, are you kidding me? You're
Yeah,
not
that's an absurd.
practicing defense?
I guess I mean, what better way to win games than to score points? I guess, but
I'm just not buying that, is what I'm saying. There's just no freaking way that's going on.
yeah, that guy might have the wrong info, but it would not surprise me at all to find out that maybe that's the case.
Calipari.
Yeah, Calipari. I said Coach K, but
Well,
yeah, that
Coach
was.
K's been in the news today. That's why.
Oh yeah, I got him right next. Actually, he's literally my next bullet point once we leave the conference. But
Nate Oates. Shout out to Nate Oates from Bama for calling Coach K out today. I love it.
oh yeah, well, we're gonna get into that in just a minute here. But yeah, no, that wouldn't surprise me at all, Coach. It always impresses me how Kentucky, if there is anything you can say, that they coach up 18-year-olds basically to be their 5 starters every single year. I mean, it's just kind of unprecedented, Like there's all the other good programs. They got guys that kind of hang around. Kentucky is just a factory. They just pump guys in the NBA, have them for a year, suck early, and then they figure their shit out late. But the fact that that's how they're going about it and the way they've been able to perform is crazy. But the 1-3 start, that's got to be their worst start in a while.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how they end up. And segueing off that, Coach K, he wants to shut down the season. He said, "Listen, there's a fucking pandemic going on. We can't be fooling around with this stuff. We shouldn't even have a year. It just coincidentally."
I agree a lot with a lot of that. I agree. There's a lot of things I agree with about that statement.
Yeah, but the timing though, like it just so happens to be after they lose 2 games at home back to back, which has got to be the first time in a while. They're no Kentucky as far as, they don't start slow. Duke is always good. They're always solid. And they just so happen to struggle the last 2 games. And Nate Oates at Alabama, former UB coach, by the way, he called him out. He said, "Listen, Coach K, I hear you. I mean, COVID's a thing, but it just so happens to coincide that they don't want to play Alabama, who, by the way, is pretty talented this year. They're a good squad, and Nate Oates is a good coach." But Nate Oates came out and basically said, "Listen, Coach K is dodging us," which I respect. That was probably my favorite quote of the week. We might have to start doing a segment on that, just quotes of the week or something. But, yeah, good for Nate Oates calling him out. He knows – I think he's aware that Alabama is a live dog in that Duke game this year. In some other news around college football, if we're going back to that, Coastal Carolina, my boys, the Chanticleers, beat BYU in Myrtle Beach. That was probably one of the most badass things I've ever seen in college football. Usually games are scheduled, years out in advance. And I just got to say props to both teams. They, 3 days out, put it together. They said, "Listen, neither one of us has a resume. Let's just go play." And BYU came all the way from Utah to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, which I could only imagine for Mormons is probably like their worst nightmare. And they played a great game. They went down to the wire, and Coastal Carolina pulled it out. Good for Jamie Chadwell and the whole program. That was awesome.
Up yours, BYU.
We need more games like that. We seriously need more games like that where teams just say, screw it, put their balls on the table, they go and they play somewhere. Whether it's a neutral site, whether it's away. Props to Coastal Carolina, by the way. They were Division I AA for the longest time, and they are probably the biggest underdog team of the season. They've had a great year. The Big Ten, believe it or not, this is going to be shocking news to most. They've changed their rules. They said, we don't care that Ohio State's only played 5 games. We're going to let them play in the Big Ten championship. I think they're playing Northwestern. But who could have seen this coming? I mean, who could have seen the Big Ten favoring Ohio State over everybody else? It's unheard of, really.
Oh, it's ridiculous, but I'm not totally against the move because I do kind of want to see Ohio State play a little bit more, and I think they do deserve to be in the Big Ten championship. But it is hilarious.
Maybe I wasn't clear enough in my sarcasm there. The Big Ten is Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State can do whatever the hell they want. They're the Alabama of the Big Ten. They make the rules, and the Big Ten just says, "Yes, sir. May I please have another?"
Yeah, golly, yeah, that's hilarious. Yeah, but I'm with the Big Ten, or I'm with Ohio State or the Big Ten or whatever you want to call it, on the rule change. So
Yeah, I think they made the right choice. Let's be honest here. But I mean, the Big Ten, it seems like they just kind of fumbled the bag every step of the way as far as COVID and everything goes. And now here we are. We're going to have a 6-0, I think, Ohio State team probably in the playoff, when all the other playoff caliber teams played more games against probably better teams. Really, Ohio State didn't have to play Michigan. Not like Michigan's good this year, but they dodged kind of some big games in their schedule. But I'm sure they'll go blow the doors off, and the committee will say, "All right, welcome," and we're gonna have either two SEC teams, or we're gonna have Notre Dame and Clemson, and then we're gonna have Ohio State. It seems kind of like a foregone conclusion at this point.
yeah, we need 8 teams in the playoff, but we got a few more years before we can even talk about it. So let's not even get into it.
Yeah, we're gonna do a pod probably next week. I think next week sounds like a good one. We're gonna fix college football. We're gonna get down to the root of why it seems like it's the same 3 teams every year, and then a wild card. But let's move into some recaps, Clay.
Let's recap.
All right, we got Texas A&M, Auburn, A&M 31, Auburn 20. This was one of my good bets for last week. I'm pretty happy with the result, obviously. Jimbo looks like he's rounding into form. Honestly, I'm kind of mad that the Big Ten decided to just let Ohio State in, because I heard a lot of rumblings on Twitter that A&M and Ohio State would throw a game together. And I was pretty excited about that. I thought that would be a great game. I thought it'd be a good test for Ohio State, probably a better test than Northwestern, realistically. Jimbo's got the boys playing well. But unfortunately, it didn't end up happening. Big Ten is just going to let Ohio State waltz into the playoff against Northwestern. But yeah, good for Jimbo and the guys. They're in the conversation right now. They're probably debatably the second or third best team in the SEC, and it kind of is a bummer that they're not going to make the postseason, but they're a live dog.
Yeah, they are. They are a live dog, but unfortunate. But I don't want them in there. And,
no, me neither. They tend to unimpress me, but
yeah.
At the same time, though, they're a good team. They're well-rounded, and I think in a lot of years they would probably get consideration. But good for Jimbo, though. I had some serious doubts about Jimbo. If y'all have been listening for a while, I was doubting him a little bit earlier in the season, but he's really turned things around there. I think if he kind of keeps at the trajectory he's at, they could be a real player in the West going forward.
We shall see.
Clay, you're going to love this one, bud. Arkansas 48, Missouri 50. What did you take Missouri at? -3?
Yes.
Yes. This was
actually no. I think it was 2.5. 2.5.
Oh, okay. Well, either way, you lost very narrowly. That's unfortunate, but what a game. I watched pretty much the whole thing, and I got to tell you that was probably one of the most fun games all season. Missouri coming back to win it at the end. That was awesome. Arkansas was feisty, as always, but moving on, we got Florida 31, Tennessee 19. Those sons of bitches with the backdoor cover. I have a bone to pick. Who was starting at the end of the game, Clay? Was it Shrout or was it Harrison Bailey?
I was so intoxicated that I don't remember.
All right, well, whoever was the quarterback of the game really screwed everything up for me. I'm pretty sure that it was probably JT Shrout. I saw that they both had a lot of play time this week. But whoever threw that last touchdown to cover the spread, you are on my shit list. If JT Shrout, if it's you, I don't care if you're the quarterback moving forward. I'm pissed, bro. You owe me a couple units for sure, at least a couple. That felt like my lock of the week. Everything was looking good. I knew they weren't going to go for a field goal, and they scored that late touchdown. Clay, how'd you feel after the game?
I was glad. It was the first game that I really got to drink actually, and have a well, not have a good time, but I don't know. I just haven't
not the best time.
Well, I just haven't been into drinking that much recently, and so but anyway, it was fun. Tennessee played well in the first half. I had Tennessee plus 10.5 in the first half, so that hit. That was fun to cheer for. I don't know what quarterback threw your spread off, but I'm glad that he did. So whatever.
Yeah, I mean, South Carolina 18, Kentucky 41. I was never going to touch this line. Clay actually bet the Gamecocks here, which I thought was very bold, and I respected it. But freshman sensation Luke Doty was not great. He was not great. He had 85 yards passing. But on the bright side, South Carolina season is finally over, mercifully. We've got a new coach. We're good. We lost another game, whatever. Doesn't really matter anymore. We've been out of contention for a while, but we get 8 months off. We don't have to worry about this until the spring game next year. And I'm as me and all the Gamecocks fans out there, we can all take a nice little sigh of relief. I think the Gamecocks are the only team to finish their season on time, by the way. I could be wrong, but very few. We got a lot of makeup games coming up this week. We're going to pick those too. But, the Gamecocks tried. It's nice to see guys out there that really care and really want to put the effort in after all the opt-outs and everything. Shout out to Mike Bobo, by the way. He did his best. Yeah, I mean, the season's over. I'm so thankful. Kentucky is still an absolute enigma. I have no idea what they're going to do week to week, but they look good. And the last game we have is Bama 55, LSU 17. This was one of my big picks last week. I mean, Bama absolutely took LSU to the rough shed. That was bad.
LSU deserved what happened to them on Saturday after what Coach O said last year about how we're going to beat Bama every year. We're going to beat them every year.
Yeah.
We're going to beat them every year.
Yeah. Sarkisian was the coach too, right? They didn't even have old Nick Saban. He's out with COVID, which I've heard that he's healthy, by the way. So that's good news. Shout out to Nick Saban. But yeah, I mean, they had Steve Sarkisian come in. He probably drank half a fifth before he got out on the field, and he was going roughshed. I mean, you couldn't stop Bama. I think they were up by they were already covering at the half, and it pretty much just got worse. 55-17. LSU, I mean, the trouble in Tiger Town is kind of at a boiling point. I'm starting to think that maybe Coach O's not the guy, and I love Coach O, but it's maybe they just need to reload. But Alabama has losses like they did last year every year, and they seem to figure it out, and they blast the doors off of teams like LSU. So, anywho, let's move in. We got some we're turning the page. We're done with football. We got some football picks for this week. We got some free football, a little extra football going on because of COVID. But it's basketball season, Clay. And you know what that means.
Basketball time.
You know what that means, buddy. We got some teams that might be contenders in the SEC, especially the way that Kentucky's looking. You want to give us a little preview of what we can probably expect out of the Vols this year?
I would love to do that. The Tennessee Basketball Volunteers, led by Rick Barnes, won on Tuesday night against Colorado. Tennessee won by 9, 56-47. It was a very good game. Fulkerson, not 100% out there, but he will be soon. Also coming back, Vescovi, who led the team in scoring alongside Fulkerson. Pons also, who is back. Keon Johnson looks – actually, let's finish with him. Jaden Springer will be a great asset, as well as Anasicki, the fifth-year transfer. Uros and Ticket and guys like Drew Pember will not see the court this year, which is good news for us, as Victor Bailey, Keon Johnson, Jaden Springer, Vescovi, Pons, Folke, a little bit of Kumwa. I'm sure there's some people that I'm forgetting. But anyway, Tennessee, really seriously. I mean, I don't want people to think, oh, here's the Tennessee fan talking about this. It's going to be Tennessee. Tennessee was picked to win the SEC. They are – the only reason they're not, in my opinion, is in the top 8 to 7 teams already. It's because they – have had some COVID issues. So, I just don't know what Kentucky's going to do. I don't know if they're going to ever start practicing defense or what, but if things keep going the way they're going, Tennessee and LSU and Kentucky are going to be at the top of this conference. It's going to be really interesting to see. But I expect big things out of Tennessee. Is that your expectations should be high. They'll be a great team to bet on this year. So that's pretty much my preview. But let's get into Keon Johnson. So Tennessee's never really had a player like Keon Johnson. And Tanner, you being a North Carolina guy, you're used to seeing great basketball.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Tennessee's
I
had
mean, we're
good
the hoop
players.
state. People, if anybody
Tennessee's,
ever tells you anything different about New York basketball or Chicago basketball or whatever that nonsense is, the cities are great. North Carolina's hoop state. We can all agree on that.
yeah, I 100% agree. And so Tennessee, you've seen big time players, big, and so have I. I've seen not as many as players that go to, not as many players that go to Duke, UNC, go to Tennessee, but there has been some. So, players like, for instance, Tennessee's best players of all time, players like Bernard King and
Tobias.
yeah. Tobias, I guess, is one of those. Chris Lofton, Tennessee's best players of all time. But Chris Lofton wasn't even an NBA guy. So really Tennessee's only NBA guys like Keon Johnson or Bernard King, Keon Johnson, maybe Allen Houston, Josh Richardson, not bad. And Grant Williams and the guys, Admiral and Bone and Kyle are doing well. But we just haven't had a guy like Keon Johnson before, just that guy that you can just tell is just better than everybody on the court.
Just a nice little one and done.
Yeah. He's a one-and-done guy. We haven't had one of those guys that comes in and immediately looks like he's a one-and-done guy, other than Tobias. So, and it's so awesome. It's so awesome because we've gone from this miserable life of having to worry about whether or not Jordan Bowden can hit a wide-open shot or a free throw. And now we've got this Keon Johnson kid. We've replaced, Jordan Bowden and Lamonte Turner with 2 5-star – Jordan Bowden and Lamonte Turner, who were – both extremely overrated, in my opinion. Both 2 great players that I love to watch, especially Lamonte Turner, but extremely overrated, slow. Bowden was an okay defender. Couldn't really get it ever going. He just could never really figure it out. But I think Keon Johnson has that it factor, and I expect a lot of big things from him. I'm really, really excited. Tennessee plays Cincinnati at home on Saturday at 12:30.
There's nothing I love more than preseason Vol excitement. I love it. I live for it.
Kick rocks, Gamecock.
There's nothing I love more than just every season in every sport. It doesn't matter what it is. The Tennessee Volunteers fans, the faithful. I will say probably one of the best fan bases in college football, maybe the best. I think I spent a summer up in Rocky Top, and they are on top of the world up there. Things are always sunny on the other side of the rainbow, and I like Rick Barnes. I like him a lot. I'm hopeful that they can have a little bit of postseason success, even though Rick Barnes' track record in the postseason is just awful. But
people can't see. Like sometimes I don't know. Most of our interaction with people on this podcast is through the ears.
So but for the YouTube, yeah, Clay's been making faces at me for like
a lot of people
about
don't
a minute straight
faces that I make, but sometimes when Tanner says something I disagree with, I just give him like a little I mean, I don't know how
I don't even know how to describe it other than just like you like I mean it's priceless. It really is priceless, the face he's giving me right now. But there really is nothing quite like, because the Vols, it's like every year kind of hurts a little bit, but they just rally. They rally like no one else. I think the Vols are going to be really good this year. I think they got a good chance to be the class of the SEC, especially the way Kentucky's playing. And
if Tennessee can stay healthy, if John Fulkerson, Keon Johnson, Vescovi, Pons, somebody's going to get hurt. But somebody's going to get COVID. Somebody's going to get hurt. Somebody's going to opt out. But if by chance none of that happens, which I'm sure is ridiculous because we're Tennessee fans, Tennessee very well can compete for not only an SEC championship, but a national championship realistically. I mean, let's just be realistic about it. Yeah. I mean, we need more time. We need more time. Yeah, we need more time to think about it and to really look at these teams. It's too early to look and to know. Other than really, I think Gonzaga might be that team that's kind of like Virginia was. Like,
oh, yeah, give me all this hope. Clay. Keep it going.
Just Gonzaga, they just kind of look like they might just be like, 10 points better than the second-ranked team, and then like 20 points better than the third-ranked team. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like that women's basketball
Gonzaga,
bullshit.
Nobody wants to say it, but Gonzaga is a powerhouse right now. Like they are like the Mountain West or something like that. I don't even know where they play, but they are. That's kind of the class of college basketball. They've been good for years now.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. I mean, I don't have a problem with Gonzaga. I think Murphy's a great coach. I always liked Gonzaga growing up. What was that long-haired guy they had when we were younger?
Wait, do they play this season? Who's or is it Villanova that Tennessee plays?
Tennessee was supposed to play Gonzaga last week.
Oh, that's what it was. That's what it was. But they had COVID issues, so it didn't end up happening. Games off.
Correct.
Yeah. Well, either way, Clay. I mean, I'm all in with you, dude. I like the Vol basketball team. I like the coach. I like everything they got going on for sure. This could be their year.
It could be. We'll see. I mean, like you said, Rick Barnes is not great in the postseason, but hopefully that'll change.
Yeah, I mean, who knows, man? It's anyone's year. It's a COVID year. Everything's a little weird. I'm cheering for Vol basketball, as much fun as I like to have on the pod, but it will be fun if it doesn't work out. I'm gonna have my own fun. I'll be sure to clip what you just said. But yeah, you got anything else for Vol basketball?
Fuck Kentucky. That's all I got.
All right, drop the mic. But all right, well, that's the Tennessee for this season. I'm going to give you guys a little inside scoop as far as South Carolina basketball goes. I'm sure you guys could have probably guessed earlier in the pod when Clay said what teams we'd be previewing. I'm going to give a little South Carolina basketball preview. We're going to keep doing this, by the way, week by week. We're going to look into some other teams. It's not only our squads that we're going to look at. But I hate to say it, I'm feeling like a Tennessee fan right now, even though we don't have all the success. I mean, we did make that Final Four a couple of years back. But I mean, I think this is the best South Carolina team since probably that Final Four team. We've already done our usual thing. We've lost 2 out-of-conference games to start the season. We lost to Liberty up in my home state of North Carolina, and then we also lost to number 7 ranked Houston. So, we do that every year. Seems like kind of just a yearly thing with Frank Martin's teams. We love going on scoring droughts, but I stand by this. I think in game situations, I think Frank Martin is one of the top coaches in the sport. I think he's pretty straight edge. He's for the boys, and he's not the best recruiter. He's not the best at any of this stuff. But I think as far as developing players go into playing good defense and kind of fundamental basketball, everything but scoring, really, I think he's one of the best coaches in the league. For him, it's really just if you can just get to the tournament. We can't seem to get to the. We either miss the tournament or Frank Martin makes it and they do really well. See 2017 with the Final Four and everything, but Frank does this cool thing where we're always kind of toeing the line. We always miss just barely. We always find games that we should win and we lose them early in the season, and it kind of comes back to screw us. And then we play really well in the SEC. But we've got AJ Lawson coming back. He's one of the best scorers in the SEC. A lot of people thought he was going to the draft last year. He's going to be a beast. We've got the human highlight reel, Keyshawn Bryant. That's the guy to watch for on Twitter, because this man, I'm not kidding you, he's probably one of the best dunkers in college basketball. He's coming up on his maybe second or third year of being just an elite dunker. As far as the rest of his game, it's not super filled out, but he's a blast to watch. Seventh Woods transferred over from University of North Carolina. He was a big target for the Gamecocks back in the day, but he chose UNC and he couldn't get on the floor. So we got him back. Losing Mike Kotsar after last year, our Slovenian monster that we had, the 7-foot tall guy, it's going to be weird seeing him not on the sidelines because he's been there. It feels like since I even was thinking about South Carolina as a school, like the guy was there every year somehow. He was on the Final Four team, which seems like it was a decade ago at this point. But he's gone now. He used to come over by the tailgates all the time, and he would just get absolutely hammered. Good for Mike Kotsar. He's playing overseas now. But I stand by it. I think this should be the Gamecocks' best team since 2017. We're doing our usual thing. We're absolutely stumbling out of the gates. We're 0-2 so far, but I think we got a lot of potential on the squad, and we'll kind of see where it goes. But Frank Martin, man, I can't get enough of the guy. He's my dad as far as I'm concerned. I love him.
I'm a big Frank Martin guy too. I just his overall mantra is just one that I love. Manly man, military guy.
Yeah, he came over from Cuba, coached girls high school. He was a bouncer and coached girls high school basketball. It's just hard not to root for the guy. I would sign him to a lifetime contract tomorrow. I wish that he was down to maybe get a little down and dirty in the recruiting, because our recruiting classes always kind of stink. But as far as developing players, I think he's one of the best in the game. As far as in-game management, I think he's one of the best in the game. And I absolutely love his philosophy. The guy just wants to play freaking defense. And I love it. We'll go on a scoring stretch, or we'll go 7 minutes without scoring, but we'll get some good stops in there too. But that's my South Carolina basketball preview. I think they should be a tournament team. The way things are looking right now, who knows? But
I'm going to get so many texts saying, hey, tell your buddy we don't give a fuck about South Carolina basketball.
Well, it's all right. We're going to be previewing a lot
It'll
of
be,
teams
hey,
we don't care
tell
about
your
this
buddy
year.
we really don't give a fuck about South Carolina football, but we really don't get – no, come on. I'm just kidding, dude.
Nah.
Kidding,
I mean,
man.
listen, you can hate South Carolina basketball all you want, but they're destined to go 1-1 with Tennessee like they always do. So
when's the last time that happened? Okay, last year, but that was the first time it happened. It was the first time it happened in like 3 years. I mean, let's not forget when the boys came to Columbia. I mean, it was an absolute throttling.
Well, you never know.
That was the first time I met you. That was a great time.
I mean, it was something. It was an interesting time for sure.
Yeah, you did not know what you were getting into with those boys.
No, that was the first time I met Clay. Actually, yeah, we were at Colonial Life Arena in Columbia, South Carolina. We went to a basketball game together, and it was something. It was, I mean, that's the only way I can even put it. It was something. We might have some footage. I might put it on the TikTok or something. But
we'd been drinking.
Yeah, we had a few. Let's move into our picks for this week, though. We got some free football, Clay. This week of the season was never supposed to happen. This is a pure postponement from COVID week happening of SEC football.
Free football, nothing better. If it's free, it's for me.
Yeah, that's kind of how I live my life too. Clay, what picks are you looking at this week, man? What do you like? What do you not like? I think we're both still hovering right around 500. I'll have the official tallies calculated after this week. See who wins the season-long title.
You know, I'm going to go this week. I'm going to go Tennessee minus 15. Ugh, I can't believe I just said that. I don't know why, for some godforsaken reason, I'm having this weird itch to take Mississippi State. I don't know why, but I'm going to take Mississippi State plus 6.5 over Auburn.
Ooh, that's bold, man. That's
going to be weird. I don't know. It might be a Ricky pick, but and then let's just cruise with Bama minus whatever.
Listen, I'm starting to think that Bama minus whatever is pretty much the best pick you can make in sports. It seems like they just keep finding new highs, and they don't seem to come back down to earth, except for that Ole Miss game, which I think we all probably predicted was going to be a little closer than we expected. But yeah, there's some good picks. That's all you got?
Yeah, that's it.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna take Georgia minus 13 in Missouri. I like Missouri's direction though. I like where they're going. I like Eli Drinkwitz, but I think Georgia's just going to kind of show their talent. I think they're just going to if you just look at the depth charts, they've got 5 stars left and right. I just don't think Missouri's got the talent to kind of keep up with them. It might be close after the first half, but I'm thinking Georgia's going to pull away probably late with the running game. Minus 13. I like Georgia. I'm riding with LSU at Florida. I'm riding with Florida at Florida at home against LSU. Jesus Christ. The Gators, man. I think LSU looks like a mess. They just banned themselves from the postseason, so the players are pretty much playing for nothing at this point. They're just doing this game to do it. I think Florida minus 23.5 feels good to me. And then I like Auburn. I'm going on the other side of you for the Auburn-Mississippi State game, but I like Auburn minus 6.5. I think Mississippi State
have a weird
stinks.
Yeah, I just have a weird feeling. I also think Auburn stinks.
Yeah, Auburn is not good. They're very inconsistent. They don't have the guy that we thought they had. That's for sure. With Bo Nix, I was really excited about him, to be honest, but he's nowhere near what we thought. And I just think Mississippi State stinks more. That's all. That's really kind of what it boils down to. I like Auburn to win by probably 7-10 points, somewhere around there. I like the number. 6.5. I like that number. I think they'll win by a touchdown.
It's not a bad number. Not
Yeah,
a bad number.
And what home field advantage is better though than Starkville, Mississippi, where they're all banging those freaking cowbells the whole game.
Even though there's like not even near full capacity, I'm sure that's still loud as hell.
Oh my God. It's got to be one of the most irritating things in sports. But I mean, I could only imagine going into a game at Mississippi State and just dealing with freaking cowbells the entire time. But I still like Auburn.
A fever.
I got a fever for more cowbell. More cowbell.
No prescription.
It's more cowbell. But yeah, those are our picks for the week. I've got Georgia minus 13, Florida minus 23.5, and Auburn minus 6.5. Clay, what are yours?
Tennessee, Mississippi State, and Bama.
Do you have a certain one that you like more than the rest? I feel like I've got kind of like my lock in my head. What's yours?
Well, I'll say Tennessee and Alabama. Tennessee's playing a high school team, so it should be fine.
I fully expect Tennessee to win. No fans in Vanderbilt Stadium, although I'll tell you I know a guy who will be there. It'll be me.
Yeah, we're gonna need some premium footage.
It's all about who you know, folks.
Yeah, Vandy is not allowing fans in the stadium, even though tickets are totally for sale. They just don't have any fans.
That's incorrect. Tickets are not for sale.
Oh, really? You got the insider?
No, I'm serious. They don't have fans.
Well, I know that. There's nothing.
No, I'm serious. Like, they said no fans this year. Like,
I know. We talked about that earlier in the season, but you found a way. You're going to weasel your way in there. You're going to be our inside man in Nashville.
You're saying they don't have fans.
Well, they also don't have fans.
It's like they don't have fans, but they also don't have fans.
Yeah, two things can be true at the same time. They are not allowing fans, which we talked about in an earlier pod, was the smart move because they don't have fans. We're saying the same thing, I think.
What do they have? A female kicker.
Yes. Sarah, I have a hot take. I don't know if there's anywhere I can bet this. I think this is the week. I think Sarah is going to make a kick and she's going to win the Heisman. I think that's how it's going to go.
Sarah Fuller kicks a 13-yard field goal versus Tennessee. Nobel Peace Prize wears it.
She's gonna be.
Trump will give her the presidential medal of whatever it is.
She's gonna be Time Magazine's Person of the Year. I think that's my bet right now. I'm gonna whatever the odds are, I'll take it.
Not a bad bet.
But those are our picks for the week.
That's going to wrap us up for tonight. Next week, we'll get into the SEC Championship, the battle for the Heisman, Mac Jones and Kyle Trask. It's going to be really interesting. There's going to be actual games next week along with the SEC Championship. Going to be a little weird, Tanner.
Yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. I'm really excited. Listen, guys, we're glad you guys made it to this point of the show with us. We love all of our listeners. Thank you for listening. If you like it, tell a friend. Be sure to like and subscribe. Maybe leave a nice little review. Maybe leave a little review. We might start giving out some merch or something one of these days. But, yeah, next week
I'm giving out ass whippings this weekend to anybody in black and gold. That's what I'm giving out, buddy. So if anybody wants a shot at the title for the state of Tennessee, I'll be in Nashville tomorrow.
Yeah, what a sight. What a sight. Tennessee fans' biggest rivalry is Vanderbilt. How the mighty have fallen. But anyways, if you like the show, be sure to like, subscribe, leave a nice review, tell a friend. If you don't like it, act like this never happened. Just ignore everything that we've done for the last 30 minutes. Go leave a mean review on someone else's post. But next week, Kentucky LSU preview. We got some new segments coming for you guys. We're really excited about them. And that's going to be all.
Tanner, I'll see you next week.
I'll see you next week, buddy. I'll miss you.
Go Vols.
Go Vols, right? Later, bud.